Joined here once again by Joey Sinclair. And Joey, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's been a bit like we were talking since we last saw you, but how's everything been going as far as those last few months?
It's been going good. Just trying to adjust to everything that's been happening, COVID and all that. It's definitely weird. A lot of changes that go on our routine, and I'm sure a bunch of other athletes and students could say the same.
How tough was it to come back, in the fall here, thinking, hopefully we'd have a season, and then, realizing we probably weren't going to have a season? How was that mindset of, realizing that wasn't going to happen?
I almost couldn't believe it because, nothing like this has happened, or even just personally in my career, we've never had to, or I've never had to miss a game or, a whole season like that, and had something to look forward to, not really anymore.
How tough was it, too, even going back clear to March, because in March we were cruising, everything was, normal, and then the whole shutdown happens. You guys don't even get to have spring ball. So how tough was it not to even have, spring ball and then, go into the summer without that?
Yeah, that's tough, too. There's a lot of work that, we had to put in and that had to be put on hold. So, we had to, do our own workouts kind of within the guidelines and the rules, 6 feet, all that, wear a mask. So we've been trying to do that as a team over the past few months, and then just trying to keep working and stay positive and not let anyone really fall off, because it's a long time. A lot of people can fall off, so just try to keep people here and keep people active, stuff like that.
I was going to say, too, what's kind of been the mindset, especially even going back to the summer? What were the things you kind of worked on and things you were just hoping to improve on to stay healthy?
Personally, I wanted to gain more weight and just become stronger overall, and I was actually really excited coming off this past season because, we had a really good season. And, we were all just really excited, and the fact that we can't do that, get better how we want to. We have to do little things like conditioning, more field work things, not lifting weights.
Early on, when you guys first got back, I saw, guys in the weight room, at least getting some work out there. I've seen you guys out on the field, at least trying to, do some practicing. How nice is it to at least be back around, some of your teammates to at least have that camaraderie?
Yeah, it's cool being around everybody. At first, we were doing workouts, and then we had to stop completely. So we came back again, started doing workouts, and that was great, seeing everybody. And like you said, building that camaraderie is super important for a team, especially, a football team.
How much was that important, too, over the summer? Because, this was tough, I think, for everybody. Everybody handles it differently when, the news kind of broke. So what was kind of things you guys were doing, like group chatting and just trying to stay, in touch with each other?
We would hang out with each other, certain groups, I hang out with, the DBs, KJ, Curtis, then Amari and all those guys. We try to stay in touch as much as we can. Like you said, group chats, and then even just, going to the field together and getting individual work and stuff like that.
How nice was it being part of the secondary? The secondary was very good last year. You touched on it a little bit with a lot of the weapons we had, not just with Curtis. Derek Parnell was always, I could kind of called it Derek's Island, like Revis's Island. It kind of became Parnell's Island over there where he would shut guys down. He was one of the national leaders in breakups. You had several big plays, we saw throughout the year with interceptions or big knockdowns. It seemed like anybody in that secondary was, very athletic and, could do a lot of damage. So what was it like playing with that group last year?
It was honestly amazing. We got dudes like Curtis, Parnell, veterans and good leaders, and just doing things right. Derek Parnell in specific, he's definitely one of the best DBs I've ever played with. If you just watch his film, it's motivating, honestly, and makes you want to play better and push yourself.
How much did you learn from some of those guys, too? Like you said, somebody like Derek and Curtis and other guys that play, the position back there. How much did you pick up from, their games and how they study and how they prepare?
Almost everything, honestly, because, came in as a freshman not knowing much, and, you kind of have to look to guys like Curtis and Parnell to get a feel for what's going on and how you need to do things and stuff like that.
When you're back there in the secondary, too, what's most rewarding for you? It's always great when you get a big pass breakup or obviously an interception, but, how big, what is the kind of a play that always stands out for you that you hope you can make?
Interceptions are great, and as a DB or as a safety, you have to, get interceptions, cover pass breakups, but I personally like tackling. I didn't have a lot of big hits last season, but I had a lot of solid tackles, and it just feels good because, I don't know, I just like that feeling.
We think back to last year, too. How great was it, getting the history, getting a share of the GNAC title. When we think back to that Azusa Pacific game, how much do you remember from that game? Because that thing was wild. It goes right down to the end. We get the big block field goal. How much do you remember from that game, and what really stands out to you?
I just remember before the game, we were all talking we have to win this game. This is this is for us and like for the school, for our families. It's, you know, it was super important for us to be able to make some history like that.
And how nice was it to, culminate with that? Because, you guys worked, all year for that and actually, get that. I mean, how nice was it to achieve that?
It was really one of the greatest feelings I've ever felt, honestly. And for it to come down to the wire like that and have us make a play, I feel like that even made it feel better.
Was there a game that really stood out to you, personally outside of that game? Because I remember the Central Washington game here, you had that big interception in the corner of the end zone. Is there, other games that really stood out to you, like, hey, this was a, big game for me this year?
Our first game against Azusa Pacific had I think 8 tackles and 2 pass breakups, and I think that was one of my best games, and that was an important game for me because it gave me a lot of confidence going into the season.
All right, Joey. Well, we really appreciate you swinging by and catching up.
Thanks for having
Best
me.
of luck here once we get our season hopefully going here soon.
Hopefully.
I know we're already ready for some football here soon, so I'm looking
Yes,
forward to
sir.
seeing you guys out there again soon, and we appreciate you swinging by.
Thank you.